just going to stare for a minute.
For dramatic effect.
Charlie,
last time I actually pulled each person in one by one. I was going to do that again, but I forgot. Because I didn't realize that until I clicked live.
Kick us out now. Kick us out now.
There you go.
Kick us out. Give us.
Let's do something different tonight. Okay, not different. I'm gonna do it again. Hello, everybody. It's American Hammers TV. This is AHTV and friends. Tonight, you saw already. Maybe you did. We got three good friends of mine here tonight, and we'll start. We'll start with the opposite order of how they arrived. Let's start with my good friend Jazz here. Jazz, good evening. How are you? How are you feeling?
Very well, very well. Obviously, frustratingly, still working from home, trying to keep healthy, keep working from home. Children are kind of at home, but still doing different things. My West Ham man cave's nearly going to be ready, and you'll be the first one to have the footage of that once it's ready.
Thank you.
The garage is fully painted, the carpet's gone in, and we'll follow that. And of course, I'm the Hammer Shots lead. I'm on Hammer Shots leader as well as you.
You are. You're on top of the leaderboard, which we haven't quite created the graphic for yet, but that's in the part of the plan. Yes, you are on top. And if Irish Tommy is in here tonight, you got knocked down by Jazz. So, but this week, just so everybody knows. So Wednesday, we have David from Boston against Tommy Atherton. So that'll be good. My next guest is from Alamo City Hammers, good friend of the show, been on a bunch of stuff. He was also on, Friday Night Likes and all the good stuff. David from Alamo City. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, Tim. Doing all right. Hi, Jazz.
Good to see you.
Hi.
And lastly, we have, I don't see the hashtag anymore, but I do see it in the chat room. Recall Big George, good friend, the champion of Friday Night Likes, by the way.
I'd like to, as the champion of champions, I would like to congratulate Jazz on his win. It was very impressive, very passionate. That's what I like to see. Passion, that's what it's all about. The taking part that counts and everything, but most importantly, it's the passion that counts. And you love to see it. Thank you, Rebecca. Shout out. It's called Hammer It Out. It's on Thursdays, every other Thursday. Make sure to watch it. There you go. But yeah, thank you for having me.
What was the name of the show? I forgot already.
It's called Hammer the Point. It's on Wednesday.
Hammer the Point, hammer the shots, hammer the outs, hammer it out, hammering it. So tonight we're gonna do some hammers polls for about a half an hour. If you guys want to play along, or girls, whatever, people in the chat room, you want to play along, feel free. I'll pull up the comments if I remember to. The first one's kind of an interesting one, guys, and I think we've discussed this on many of our shows, and I think it's been on Friday Night Likes, one of the episodes as well. Basically, when it comes down to our biggest two rivals in history, anyway, so who's our biggest rival from the two? I think it personally depends on how old you are. So if you're under 40, it's more often Spurs, and if you're over 40, it's Millwall. So. Well, we won't go with what's your age bracket. We're not going to do that. We're just going to say, hey, who do you personally think is the bigger rival of the two, and your reasoning. So we'll go Jazz and David and then Charlie. So Jazz.
So the first interesting thing for me is I'm not actually from East London. I'm from West London. And I think that can make a difference in your answer. So I don't have any family or anyone who used to work in the sort of the docks and things like that, where a lot of the history and rivalry comes from.
Yeah.
I concentrate in football solely, probably like yourself. So for me, it's always been Spurs. It used to be Chelsea a little bit at school, but definitely recently, last 15, 20 years or so, it's Spurs for me. Millwall are hardly in the same league as us, very rarely, apart from maybe 93, around that time, and when we were a bit down at the moment. Because Millwall, from my memory, they've never been in the top division.
No, but 2012, when we were last in Championship, we played them.
Yeah.
I think it was the last time, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's Spurs, solely to do with football and not being that far from Upton Park. I don't know how far they are from Stratford now, but Upton Park certainly wasn't that far. Millwall, not for me, but I think a lot of that's to do with I don't live in the area, so Spurs for me, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Americans who watch the film, what's the film? Jesus Christ, Green Street Hooligans.
Green Street.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Americans who actually get turned on to West Ham because of that movie. I bet you that they'd say Millwall because of their love for that movie. But I don't know. So we have a few comments here in the chat room, and yeah, it's actually so far all Millwall. Bizarrely enough, it's funny because when these people were actually on the show, I swear that their answers were different. But
Spurs for me.
Is it cool to say Millwall? Is that what it is? Anyway, David, what do you think, my friend?
Well, you got to look at the way the question is worded. It's on there. It says, "Who's our biggest rival?" Well, I think it's probably Spurs if you're talking about rival.
Yeah.
Because we play more football with Spurs than we have Millwall. Now, who's more likely to have a dust up at a match? It's Millwall, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I'm a Jazz. Millwall, they're not even in our league anymore. I think we sort of moved on past that. We're in a new era now, aren't we?
But wouldn't the argument be that when, like, especially the more recent times when we played them, even when we played them in championship or we played them in a cup match, the atmosphere is different. The actual game day atmosphere or match day is a lot more intense when you're playing Millwall than it is Spurs. No.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But a lot of that, Tim, a lot of that is off the field, not on the pitch. To be fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I think it's Millwall. Personally, I don't care. I don't have rivals with anyone, to be honest with you.
Anyone we're playing.
I ain't got the time to be caring about hating another person or another team. It's too much effort. It's too much time and energy. I might as well just you can look at other teams and go, oh, yeah, they're pretty good. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous of the way Spurs have been run for the last 10 years. Do you know what I mean? I can say that openly. I'm certainly not jealous of the way Millwall have been run. That's a separate issue. But the biggest rival is Millwall, just because of what you said. Like, it feels different when you face Millwall. Like when a Millwall West Ham game happens, it's so different. Like the Spurs thing, it's like they are our biggest footballing rival. I think the other two are right. You know what I mean? Like, because let's be real. Like, unfortunately for their fans, Millwall are completely irrelevant compared to us at this point. It sucks for them, but it just is the case. Like, we went up, they stayed down. Like, soz, but it happened. So obviously it is like in footballing terms, it is Spurs. But when those games, they aren't common by any stretch of imagination. But when they do, there's a bigger atmosphere, a bigger sense of occasion, a bigger rivalry in just the one game against Millwall, and then there are 5 against Spurs. It's a completely different set of things.
Yeah, it's just okay. So hearing from when Jack Holston said that, or when he was describing, 4 days after his father passed away, he goes and plays Millwall, and then they end up winning the match, and how intense that was, and he felt the rivalry. You know what I mean? Like that's a major rival for the club, and that's coming from a player, and not too long ago. I mean, yeah, maybe 8-9 years ago, but when that happened. But I don't know. It's still like you're right. It's definitely more off the pitch, definitely. But yeah, we hear of and see Spurs a lot more often, and that definitely gets under our skin more. So,
but
I don't know.
But Tim, another interesting thing, I would, after Spurs, I think Manchester United is the most fixture that everyone looks forward to, interesting enough, more than Arsenal and maybe even Chelsea. I think the West Ham Manchester United games are so heated up traditionally over the years, including the last game at Upton Park. So controversially, I would say after Spurs, Manchester United is really key for us. We're really up for it, yeah.
I would say this, Jess. I would actually sort of semi-agree with you there. But the thing is, I wouldn't call it a rivalry because they don't care about us. Being honest about it, they don't. Definitely. They've got other things. But I agree with you. I think that they've got this and I think that it's probably the same for actually most teams. Is they have that sort of like boogeyman aspect to them because of how long they were on the top for and how big this monolithic. Everyone talking Man United, biggest club in the world, all these big things. I think you're right there. I think people look at the Man United fixture and getting one over Man United is almost more satisfying for the vast majority of people than it is, like you say, Arsenal or Chelsea or anyone like that. I've never thought about it, but you are right.
It's the one, even before Sky, the BBC ITV always used to show that one live because it was such a great game. irrespective, like you said, wherever we were in the league, we were always up for that game for some reason. Yeah.
So I guess, like Dave was saying, I guess it's how the question is worded. And the biggest rival is definitely Spurs. And I know one of us is under the age of 40. Well, me too for a couple months anyway. But I'll just say, for shits and giggles, Spurs 40 plus. And just to see what the results were here. And 256 votes. A lot say Millwall under the age of 40, which is the opposite of what I was thinking. For people under the age of 40 to say, oh, well, okay, well, actually, Millwall 40 plus. But even still. What's up?
I said they've been raised well.
Well, that's right. That's true. So let's see what this next question is. That was from Tony Pearson, by the way, good friend of the show. Good dude. Hey, this one's from somebody in the chat room. Actually, would you sell Felipe if it meant giving a chance to Nathan Holland? We'll start with Charlie and go up.
Shout out Sofian for a start. Good lad. No, I'm not convinced by Holland. I think there's lots of potential there, and I want to see him in and around the team. I want to see him getting his chance, but I'm not convinced he is. I'm just not convinced by him. I haven't watched enough of him to be perfectly clear. I haven't seen many matches of his fully all the way through. I've seen a lot of highlights, but that's just what they are. They are highlights. So for me, no, Felipe Anderson is potentially our most technically gifted player, and although he hasn't had the form this season by any stretch of the imagination. Last season, he was definitely one of our best players, and overall at his time at West Ham, he's been better a lot more than he hasn't, in my opinion. So no.
Okay. David.
I don't know if I would sell Felipe Anderson just to have Nathan Holland on the left wing. But if we could get the right money for Felipe Anderson, it wouldn't break my heart if he went. He came with big promises, and I don't think he's delivered. He's shown some really, really class football at times, but it's just not consistent enough for me. If we could sell him on and bring in somebody like a Mason Mount to shore up our central midfield, I'd be happy with taking someone like Nathan Holland on the wing as a compromise, But not just to get rid of him to have Nathan Holland around now.
There's mixed opinions in the chat. I love it. Listen, like you said, Dave, before I give it over to Jazz, he has shown glimpses of what he could be, and that I guess I'm holding on to that because he's still definitely young enough compared to, say, Antonio, who's in his 30 plus. We're talking about players like that, or talking about Mark Noble. If Mark Noble had a season like Anderson, and at his age, or if Anderson was Noble's age, this wouldn't be a discussion. It would be like, get rid of him completely. I would say keep him around personally. And I wouldn't, basically based off of this question, I definitely want Holland to be in the squad, like Charlie was saying. I want him to be around the club. I want him to be training with the first team. I don't want him to be training with fucking Oxford or whoever. I want him to be training with West Ham and being, fighting for his position and beefing up a bit and getting bumped around by his own teammates. But I don't know. Give Anderson a chance. I say one last chance. 3 strikes, you're out. You know what I mean? So, Jazz, your thoughts?
There are many different angles to this question. The first angle is that he is one of, if not the most talented player in our squad. Second angle, he's, if not, one of the most underachieving players in the squad. Third angle, if you're going to sell anyone, he'll probably get one of the most money. So it's all about timing. If he has another season on par with the previous season, a little bit lower, we're going to get even less money for him. So for me, when I look at people like Cantwell and Redmond and the QPR guy and even sort of Bowen coming in, those people excite me more. And I'm one of the biggest Anderson fans, but those are the 3-4 angles we've got. He's underachieving. He's the most talented as well, but we're going to get the most money for him out of anyone as well. So with that in mind, my conclusion would be I would take the risk and I would sell him, because I think it's a mental thing with him. He's got it all, but he just doesn't seem to kind of deliver as a winger. But I know. Charlie's rightly said previously the stats are there. He does cross it in. He sets up everything, but I don't know. For me, it's just something always missing from him, and that's only frustrating because I know what a great player there is in him. So,
but that's also the story with a lot of our players, though, and that has to do with the coaching, and it has to do with the tactics. That has to do with what Manuel Pellegrini did with players, and even before him, what Bilic did with players, putting them out of position or not playing to their suits. I mean, same thing. We could say the same stuff about Allaire. You know, he's got all the talent in the world, but he just has been so inconsistent. We just don't see it. Well, that has to do with a lot of factors, not just.
The thing with Anderson is the first year he never used to track back and tackle, and I think partially due to the fans saying it rightly so as well. The second season, I found out that he kind of went the other way. He didn't want to go over the halfway line, and he was tracking back. And when he was going forward, then Haller wasn't giving him the option. So
yeah.
We kind of went the other way in the second season. So for me, it's kind of the jury's up in the air for me. Yeah.
But again, the second season, and this goes on to what kind of went on. Where'd it go here? So, what he said. So 1 goal all season. Well, that 1 goal, he actually just played himself. Like he took it himself. He took the ball in himself. Gave himself he created his own chance and scored and showed like that's what he can do. But here's the thing, like you were saying, like David was saying, if I wouldn't necessarily look to sell him, but like Dave was saying, if the offer came up, I mean, we're not going to get much more money than, for other players on our squad. I mean, he would definitely be a big chunk of change. I'm not saying we're going to get like 35, 40 million for him. There's no way, but we'll definitely get at least 20,
But do you sell when someone's on the down, or do you sell when they're on the up? That's kind of also significantly our problem, is we never sell when someone's at their peak price and he's far from his peak price. Like we would have easily the summer just gone, we would have easily have got back what we paid for him. Because he had a season which was probably like first Premier League season, taking everything into account, one of our top goal scorers, one of our top assist makers, like one of the most creative people, like we would have done that. Now we definitely wouldn't. Now, of course, part of that is everything that's going on in the context of the world. That is what it is, and I don't disagree with any of you about the money thing at all. To be fair, I think if you get the right offer, obviously you let him go. But what is that right offer? And is now the right time for that, because he would be just as easily as if he has the same season as he had this, he'd get less. He could easily just have a season like he had the first time and get more. So when do you sell? It's a difficult one. I think we're legendarily bad at selling players because we do it after they've had a bad season, 18 months. It's like, well, no one's going to pay for him now. We should have sold him. We could have sold Cresswell for 25 mil at some point, and yet here he is now, and he's like, that's never going to happen, is it? Like, and I'm not saying I want to sell Cresswell. I'm just giving it as an example.
Yeah. No, you're right though. You're absolutely right. So what do we all agree? We all basically said if the offer comes in that's reasonable, we would take it probably. But none of us are really looking to sell him, right? We're not putting him in the shop window, are we?
I wouldn't.
Anybody? Actually. You would?
No, okay. No, I wouldn't put him in the shop window as such.
No, I wouldn't actively look to dump him.
No, depends on the price and who else can come in, but.
So I'll act. So I'll act as though this question says, "Would you actively sell him?" Because it does say, "Would you sell him?" I mean, we technically would if the offer came in, but we're not looking to. So I would say no. And 75% say no. So there you go. And I don't know if that has to do with Nathan Holland, or that has to do with.
I think that's probably a factor.
Yeah, big time. Let's see if we can. My computer's acting really old today. Oh, here we go. I was going to talk about this later. Well, there goes the second half of the show. Excuse me. So Reece Oxford told Talk Sport that he left West Ham because he couldn't see a route for the first team. Now he's playing in the Bundesliga for Augsburg. He's made only 8 appearances. Will we see him back in the Premiership? This isn't quite the question I was going to ask, but this is their question, so let's answer this one. Let's start with Jazz and go down.
No, I think he's 2-3 managers have seen him over the years. And I remember even that debut at Arsenal, I think it was on holiday in Cyprus, and I thought we found the next Rio Ferdinand from the way he played in the Arsenal game. played in a kind of a sweeper system and marked the Arsenal guys out of the game. I thought, wow, we found someone. But he never played again that season. And rumours came about his character. He wanted more money. We gave him a bigger contract and went to his head. And he's been to more than one club on loan. No one's able to get anything out of the guy. So it seems to be like a mental block, really, with him. So I can't see him coming back. Or certainly showing any of his earlier potential, I think. So it is one of those that kind of, it's not going to happen, I think, for one reason or another. Yeah.
Like at his position, and this is what always just fucking blew my mind. Even when he had that fantastic Arsenal match, it's with his body shape, his build, his lankiness, his not bulkiness. He's not strong, really. Yeah, I mean, sure, he could probably bully some people around if he has the right mind about him and knows what to do and how to put people off. But my problem was that it's the same issue I have with Diop. Like, Diop is going to get hurt if he continues to bang people up with not enough muscle on his body. I mean, I'm not saying be like Mikel Antonio, but I mean, pack on a few pounds, if you're going to be shifting your weight around, making tackles and blocking people, especially in set pieces, etc., which, central defenders usually in there for. I never saw him as a central defender. And he's not technical enough to be a defensive mid. So, unlike Declan Rice, who was the perfect example of like, hey, he made the right move, shifting over to, defensive mid. But anyway, he still looks the same. He's got the same shape. He's still super skinny. It's like Nathan Holland out there. You know what I mean? Can you imagine Nathan Holland?
Another thing, Tim, is I've never seen him play, though. I have to hold my hand up. Even in the Arsenal game, all I've seen is the goals and the highlights. So unless Charlie or someone else, I've never seen him play. That's another thing. So I don't know. Yeah.
David, any thoughts?
Well, I did watch the Arsenal game, and he was absolutely mustard in that. I mean, he didn't put a foot wrong the whole match. Unfortunately, he couldn't replicate that and bring it to the team. And I mean, there's been a few people I've listened to a few other podcasts and things like that where they've talked about his like state of mind and his and then also I think his they've had issues with his agent sort of pushing him to make shitty decisions.
He didn't play another game for us, did he? Or did he? Did he play another game for us after that? I don't know.
He played against Bournemouth at home, and I think he might have got substituted off in that game in the second half.
Oh my god! All right, bloody hell!
He might have played one more of a game, I think, in that season anyway, and then he played in the cups a couple of times.
League Cup, yeah, maybe. Wow.
But I don't think we'll ever see him back in England. I mean, unless all of a sudden he sort of snaps out of whatever's in his head, He's a very talented footballer. I mean, he's shown that to get his opportunity in the first place, and then the way he played against Arsenal, to chuck him on against Arsenal in that sort of game, and for him to perform like that, he's got talent, he's got class. It's just whether they can get this right,
I see him playing in England again. I see him playing in England again, but I see him playing in like Championship, for a club who's either recently relegated or I don't know, looking to get promoted or something like that, looking for someone with experience. But I don't see him playing in the Premiership. I don't know. Jazz, you gonna say something? Sorry to cut you off.
I think it's just linked to like the Ngakia contract issue at the moment. Is linked to how much money we gave at the beginning to Reece Oxford. So the club are quite wary about giving this similar money to Ngakia, just trying to connect it to stories that are running at the moment, really out of interest to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did the same thing with Declan Rice when he was looking at his contract.
Yeah.
They were very wary of giving him money as well because of the same situation.
Yeah.
If I was a Championship club, I would go after like this for this upcoming season. I would go after Reece Oxford and Ryan Fredericks. They would make the perfect Championship pair. Charlie, what do you think?
So, will we see him back in the Premier League? I doubt it. I think he made the right thing. I think he whenever I've seen him play, he's always struck me as a player who would work better in Europe anyway than he would in the Premier League. And a part of that is what you're saying, Tim, about his size and his physicality. I think he makes up for that in his tackling. I think he's a good tackler, but he wasn't exactly going to he's not Virgil van Dijk. He's not going to bully people off the ball. He's smaller than Declan Rice is, for example. That's just the way he is. So I always think he reminds. Go on.
So you're saying he's no James Tompkins?
He's no James Tompkins either. No, that's true. I also think he has. Listen, could he? Okay, I won't say that. That's just to wind you up. Yeah, he's no James Tompkins. He's never going to do that. He's just never going to be that player. But in the same way, I don't think James Tompkins would fit in as well on the continent as I think Reece Oxford does. He made the right choice leaving. At the time, there wasn't a path for him. Simply put, there was at first, and I felt like at first I had a faith. It's one of my biggest hang-ups with Bilic was the way he dealt with him, because I had a lot of faith in Bilic dealing with him due to his time in the Croatian youth teams and then going through into the national team. And he was the guy who brought through every big Croatian player you're thinking of now. If I say Croatian national team, Modric, Rakitic, flipping all of these people, they got their debut under him. And I had the faith that he knew how to sort of bed these players in. But it was one of my biggest problems with him is that it never seemed to work out. Yeah. So he obviously made the right choice. And then when Moyes brought him back, it was a farce, to be honest. Moyes shouldn't have brought him back just to have a look at him. I mean, that's insanity. Like, bruv, there's enough footage on the internet to see everything about him. You could watch an interview with him and find out what his bloody mum's name is, but just by a simple Google search. Why do you need to bring him back and have a look? That's insanity. And then it just completely ruined it, because that was when he was starting to get into the Gladbach team, and Gladbach are a better team than Augsburg. Yeah. They're a better team, and he was getting in. He started like 3 or 4 games in a row, and then they brought him back just to have a gander, and then they're like, oh, actually, no, we're going to send him back out again. What are you doing, you idiots? Stop doing these stupid things. And it's a shame, but I do think he went to the wrong club. I don't think Augsburg are the one for him. They're a struggling team in Germany. They're a sort of Crystal Palace level club, I guess. In a good season, they're just about mid-table. In a bad season, they're in relegation zone, if not getting relegated. I think it was the wrong club for him. I think he's in the right league, but he needs to move. If I can see him going through and playing for other teams in the top 5 leagues of Europe, but he won't get back to the Premier League. And I don't think he should, because it's not his scene. It's not his scene.
Definitely. So almost everyone agrees there. Out of 193 votes, 85% pretty much say no. We'll never see him back.
Great example. I've said this on the show before, right? But I think when a youth player breaks in, they play at their very highest straight away, because they have everything to prove. That first game, second game, they have the big things to prove, and then you see them start to tail off a little bit. And the ones that stay are the ones who manage to get that tail off to be a nice long thing, where they can keep it, like Declan Rice, right? Came in, killed it. He had a little bit of a wobble, and then he stayed true to the course, you know. Diangana, you saw him go down a little bit after those initial things. And Reece Oxford was a perfect example. Came in like a flipping house on fire, came down, and he just never quite had the opportunity to ride that wave out. Could he have? Yeah, probably, but it is what it is.
I'm going to hold off on pulling up all the anti-Frederick's comments, just out of respect for Wally, even though I started it. Sorry, Wally. And now you're taking the heat in the chat room, I see. But yeah, no, Charlie, you're right, man. So this next question is actually from another podcast. This is more than just a podcast. On the latest episode, it was discussed ways in which to finish the season. Which one of these two would you consider? So basically, if you had to choose one, right? I understand that we probably have different opinions, but which one of these would you choose? Would you choose to roll it back to week 19 when everybody played everybody once? Or roll it back to week 27 when everyone played the same amount of games? If you had to choose between the two, Jasmine will go down. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Charlie will go up, because we're trying to go backwards there. Charlie.
I don't know.
I finally got him. 27 more games, more representative of the entire season. 27. Simply put, 19 is I get it, everyone played each other once, but everyone played each other once. It's just less games. The more games you have, it's a sample size, right? You do a research study. If you ask 10 people a question, you get a worse sample size than if you ask 1,000 people a question. Yeah. So 19 games, as accurate as that is, 27 games is a more accurate representation of someone throughout an entire course of the season. 27. Yeah. David.
Yeah, absolutely same answer. And then also, after 19 weeks, we were in deep shit. So of course it's 27, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, did they discuss that on the podcast? I wonder. Yeah, you're right, man. So, but the other thing is, actually, no, no, I'll let Jazz go, and then I'll say my piece. Jazz, your thoughts?
I mean, if I had the two choices, it'd be week 27, but my original preference from the beginning has been to avoid the season and just give Liverpool the title, honour the European positions, don't relegate anyone, bring 3 from up. So you end up with 3 extra teams and then slowly relegate them over the next 2-3 years. That was my position right from the beginning, and I'll stick to that because I hope it doesn't happen. But if we follow the Germany sort of example and restart in 3 weeks' time, say 3 games into it, and then maybe one and 2 players, I hope it doesn't happen, they get the virus, and what the hell are we going to do? It's a bigger mess, and probably have to end it there. But that's my feeling, is just because I want the next season starting on time in September.
Yeah,
that's the thing I'm focused on. I mean, void it and just give everything. If you've done well, reward them, but don't penalise the people like stuck at the bottom on 4 of them, on 3 of them on same number of points, for example. If we got the same points as 3 other teams at the bottom, so it's a unique situation. So it'd be week 27 for me, but just avoid the season, this one, and just start again in September on time. Schools start on time, universities, all that kind of thing.
Yeah. All of you had great points to this. I would guess I would have to say week 27 too, if I had the choice. Week 19 again. So you play Liverpool away, but another team played them at home, or vice versa, or however these teams, or however the schedule matches up. You don't. It might the strength of schedule might be more difficult for others based off of the home and the away. Who did you play at home? Who did you play away? Blah, blah, blah. It's too fucking crazy. I don't like, again, like you guys, I prefer not any of these. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here, a little bit, just a tiny one. I'm gonna keep it light tonight.
Go for it.
The German league, right? The Bundesliga is back, and you guys, anybody, please, and especially the chat room, you guys watch how they set this back up together. You see how fucking asinine this all is. So basically, first of all, these teams and players shouldn't be out there unless they've all been tested. Okay. Now, if they're tested negative, okay, then they should be able to be 6 feet within each other. I don't understand how all of a sudden the coronavirus just pops up out of thin air after they've already tested negative, etc. Like the whole watching some of the players come down on one of those airplane ladders, and others, like literally 6 feet apart, and they're wearing masks on top of everything else. Like they're being extra, like way too precautious. It looks fucking. It's kind of like they did it for show. It didn't really make much sense, if you know what I'm saying. Like it was, they did it to look a certain way. It was all aesthetic. You know what I mean? It was like Nazi Germany, like watching everything in uniform, and it really made no sense. But it at the same time, made no sense. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. If we're going to come back, we need to come back right and come back fucking hard, and make sure that everyone's negative, that are coming back. And if you can't get everybody negative, then shit, it should be fair. So say, for example, 1 or 2 players test positive, blah, blah, but then the team can't play. I say the team can't play. I mean, you can't just have someone out because you can't restart unless everybody's positive type of deal too. So it's just one of those fucking things where I'm like, I don't like how the Bundesliga handled it. You either come back hard or you just don't come back at all. Go big or go home. Because it looks fucking stupid. It looks really stupid. With no fans in the stands, which I understand. But that's the other thing. There's no fans in the stands. So how are they going to catch?
They seem to be up for it, Tim. I was really surprised. I only saw one game quickly, the highlights. And what I was surprised with, that they seem to be obviously up for it, trying, score the goals, celebrated as much as you can, which I was quite surprised about. I thought they would only play at around 80% capacity. And if there's a goal, I don't know. I thought they kind of pretended there's fans there. I don't know more to say. They kind of did as much as they could, sort of imagining the fans are not there. So it kind of worked out. I don't know. They just seem to be up for it. They're doing that funny little celebration. I don't know. Were they touching elbows or something like that afterwards when they scored? All that kind of thing going on. But in terms of running around and really being up, I thought they kind of They seem to be up for it. I don't know if they were being bored last 2 months and really up for it, but yeah, it's an odd situation. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to what the Premier League is going to do, because they have to one up everybody. And if the Germans can make it look like a fucking circus, then the Premier League is going to make it look like fucking, the biggest carnival circus you can even imagine. It's literally all for show. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, there's simpler ways to do this and not be so fucking blatantly obvious that you're trying to be protective of these people.
I think it is all for show, but at the same time, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. Like, I see what you're saying. Like, if the players have been tested, then why, for example, are they sat on a bench so far away from each other? Like,
with masks on.
When I watched the Dortmund Schalke game, and the Dortmund sub were all about 5 feet away from each other, or whatever it was. Like, I get it, but I think we shouldn't be complacent enough to realize that it finds a way. Like, one person has it. It doesn't have to be one of the players. It can be one of the coaching staff. It can be one of the people who cleans the stadium. It could be a stadium announcer. It could be a pitch person. Like, it could be anyone has it. Like, it passes on like that. All of a sudden, it spreads like wildfire. So any precautions are right. I think it's more insane that they have to do these precautions apart from when they're on a football pitch is the only time they don't have the precautions. I think that's proof that probably they shouldn't be on a football pitch to begin with. But in reality, I think, is it all for show? Yes. But I don't think it's that bad. Let's be real. How many times have we seen, I don't know, a Twitter account post out a picture of a park and go, look how many people are sat next to each other in this park. Look how many people are on this beach. Look how many people are doing this. Look how many people are doing that.
Yeah.
People are influenced by other people, right? If they look at the football and they see them wearing masks and they see them sitting far enough from each other, if that convinces one person to take it mildly more seriously, as weird as that is, it's worth it. Let's be real. But to be honest, the football shouldn't be coming back ridiculous. It's just the whole situation is insane. But yeah.
So that's why I lean more toward what Jazz was saying about just fucking either. Well, I can't. I'm leaning more towards what he said. You either void the season completely, or you just friggin' say we're stopping it as it is, and whatever the results are, the results are. You know what I mean? But not restarting and finishing the season. I know there's a lot of people that say we got to finish the season. We got to. But no, it's just going to be a fucking domino effect of the season after and the season after and the season after. I don't want to see that.
And also, the argument for me, and I understand it. For example, I had this conversation with Gio. Gio's done videos about it, and we disagree on this. And it's because he like says some stuff about sporting integrity and things like that. And as much as I do understand that, brother, it's already been done. The sporting integrity is gone. Like, if you bring it back, there's not sporting integrity to begin with, because the game is compromised because of the compromises you have to make to bring the game back. It's not the same thing. There will always be an asterisk by this season, no matter what happens. So what's the point? Just be safe instead of being sorry. It's as simple as that, in my opinion.
There's other things, Tim, from a selfish West Ham point of view. If we restart the season, not saying that's a good way to think about it, Tottenham have got, and I'm not sure if Kane is fit, if Son is fit, Man United are bang on form, and our home games are crucial, like Watford and Villa. So that gets taken away if you're going to go to neutral. So restarting the game, none of the solutions work for West Ham, and that's all I'm concerned about.
Yeah,
Safety.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all going to be biased. I mean, safety aside, because we all want to be safe. I get that. You know what I mean? And yes, people know when I rant, I'm only half serious. I just I sit back and think about what I just said after the fact. That's the whole point of a rant. You just fucking get it off your chest and then take a step back. But anyway, long story short, no, it's safety first. But yes, we all have a West Ham bias. I mean, if we were in Aston Villa's position, a game in hand that could potentially get us out of the bottom three, and then we'd, if we were in their situation, we'd be like, no, don't leave the stands as it is. They'll be relegated. Oh, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? But we're not. At the same time, if I don't know. You know what? Fuck this. I'm over this discussion. I'm going to just get angry. See if there's any more Pampers polls. Sorry, guys.
That's the kind of hosting I like. When you're halfway through a point, just go, do you know what? I'm bored of this topic. We're moving on, everyone. This is why you're a good host, Tim. That's why I enjoy coming here. Just because
that's the last thing I am.
We're over with that. Moving on. Oh, he's gone. Yes, Jazz, your host. Jazz.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Right, what should we do? It's our show
Power
now.
to the people.
Let's talk about Jazz. Let's talk about curries, Jazz. Give me some opinions of curries. I know you're a very learned man.
I'll tell you what, I'm so lucky. My wife is virtually Michelin chef. I'm so lucky.
Okay.
Chicken curry, lamb curry, kebabs, dals, paneer, which is Indian cottage cheese. Oh my God, parante, which is the breakfast that the North Indian Punjabis have, which are potatoes and different fillings with yogurt, the lassi in the summer, you know, the mango ones, or it goes on and on.
I tell you what, because I've been having a lot of vegetable curries at the moment because I've accidentally gone vegetarian, right? So I've had a lot of vegetable curries at the moment, and I tell you what, I haven't had in a curry before, but I'm experiencing now to its fullest, and it's a good thing. Sweet potato in a curry is a very good addition that I never had before, and now
I've had them in terms of fries. I've kind of not bad for you, but aloo gobi cauliflower is very famous for vegetarians. They like that option. You got the okra, like they're quite popular in Indian cooking. You can do. There's loads of stuff. I heard mutton's coming back into fashion in the UK. By the way, Charlie, I heard.
Really?
Yeah, I heard that on the top show. Yeah, I was watching the Hairy Bikers, and they're like talking to someone. So mutton, and I was like, "What's the difference between lamb and mutton?" Basically, lamb is 1 year below, mutton's 1 year above. Good knowledge from Jazz for everyone.
That's great knowledge.
I didn't know that.
Thank you for joining us on a curry hour. David, what's your favourite curry? How would you? What would you? If you're getting a curry, what are you getting, David?
If I'm getting a curry, yes, it's chicken vindaloo, isn't it?
Big. I like that.
Yeah.
Jazz, you sound like you had an opinion there. It sounded like something was coming out.
I was watching Tim. We ransacked the whole show. Tim's like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Oh, Tim, listen.
No.
Thank you for being a guest on for Curry Hour.
It's just funny that you just finished saying how good a host I was.
Not onion bhajis. Onion bhajis are onions. Pakodi are different. So the wife made those. They're quite similar to onion bhajis, but there's more potatoes, and you can even put other vegetables in there. So we did that this morning.
How are you spelling that? I need to.
P-A-K.
Okay.
O-R-E.
O-R-E. I'm going to look into that.
You can have them. You can have chicken ones. It's basically batter with anything left over, onions deep fried. So it's like a crispy thing. So you can have a chicken one, fish one. You can have vegetable one more likely, but loads of things. Yeah, there's a lot of options in Indian cooking. Unfortunately, yeah, vegetarian.
You guys want to talk about what's?
Are you going vegan, Charlie, or just vegetarian?
Yeah, no. So I'm actually gonna. I've been trying to. Yeah, I was pre-pandemic. I was 2 days vegan a week, just to sort of figure out what I would do if I was to do it and stuff like that. But I'm probably gonna do it at least a bit more. Whether it's a full force thing or not, I don't know yet. I'm testing the waters. I've been messaging Dan Lawless from West Ham Fan TV. He's a vegan. I've spoken to him about it. I've spoken to him about it. It's big. It's trying. Tim, what would you if you were to order an Indian? Tim, what would you order? Don't talk about anything else. I want to know about Indian food specifically, Tim.
No, we gotta no.
No,
kebabs. Thank you.
Kebabs,
no Indian food.
There you go, kebab.
No. Just an Indian meal for Tim. What would you say?
Gary's my witness.
There's another one. Charlie, saag, spinach. Saag is very popular.
I got the wrong kebab.
Punjabi Indian cooking. Yeah, saag. Yeah, that's very.
I got the wrong kebab, but I'll never eat kebab again.
There's loads of stuff. Right? There's 5 different types of lentils.
Yeah.
Aloo gobi,
like I said, fucking mute you guys, right?
In the morning,
I don't know why I'm letting you still sit here. Jesus.
Lamb, chicken.
Mute and mute, or I can go whoop, or fucking bastards.
We'll never be silenced, Tim.
Christ.
Thank you. David.
Listen, I have something Hugel-ish related, like kind of Hugel related.
Hey, you're tempting me back. I'm going to need some more information before we stop Curry Hour with Charlie and Jazz, which is what this show now is. So.
What about feta? Are you into feta cheese? Do you like that, Charlie?
I am into feta cheese. I do like feta cheese. I've been
olives, and all that. Yeah, good.
Olives, I'm not super on, but feta cheese, I'm actually big time. I've been including that in I've been having a lot of sort of spinach and pasta type things. Getting feta involved in that. Feta's good, Feta's an underrated cheese. Tim, what's your favorite cheese?
Goat's cheese.
Cheese, man.
He's done him.
Mozzarella, man.
Mozzarella. Okay, I like that. It's a good choice. It's a classic.
Oh,
Classic. It's a
good
classic.
choice, good
I'm a
choice,
cheddar
good
man.
choice.
I'm a cheddar man, but you know, it's a
I
plain
like
one.
it.
It's a serious one.
I like it. I like it stronger these days, Charlie. The stronger cheddar
Ooh,
for some
talk
reason. Yeah.
a mature one. What about, are you going as far as a brie? You going that far, or are you just
No way, no
not
brie,
as far as
no,
a brie?
no,
Okay.
Love a bit of brie.
Okay.
no.
David, what are you saying about cheese? What's your favorite cheese?
I do like a bit of brie or some camembert.
Oh, you're going hard on the blues. I can appreciate
If
that.
I'm going with harder cheeses, it's a nice aged manchego.
I like that.
Oh.
It's a learned man about cheese. I didn't know this from you, David.
I didn't
I
get this
didn't
fat
sense
sitting
cheesiness
around
from
doing nothing.
Fair. Okay.
I got Edam. That's a bit boring, Edam cheese and stuff like that. But there you go.
I listen. I like Edam. Edam's good. You know, you can get like it's a cheap sliced one that you can get, right? But it's decent. It's not bad. You know, if you're looking for just cheap cheese, just to get in it to the
I had some brilliant buffalo wings last week. Wow, with blue
really?
cheese
Okay.
dip.
Okay.
Oh my god, that was
Okay.
amazing. Yeah, really nice.
I do like a buffalo. Tim, you look like someone who would like buffalo wings. David, what if you're getting a chicken sort of products? Would you get a buffalo? Would you get a wings? What are you getting on a chicken? What are you getting a chicken form? What's your form of chicken choice?
Well, I tell you what, if we're restricting it to wings, I like a sweet, spicy Korean type wing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
very spicy but very sweet. Yeah.
I like meat on the bone. I don't like breast of chicken. It's too dry for me. Interesting enough. Yeah, it has to be on the bone, drumsticks or yeah. I don't like chicken breast. I know it's good for you, but I find it too dry. Yeah.
Tim, boneless chicken, yes or no?
I prefer bone.
You prefer bone?
Yeah.
Charlie, when you go back to
it's a bloody chicken.
you can't beat butter chicken. Indian butter chicken is number one in my whole
I'll agree that. I agree. That's a bang.
Oh my god, that is just. I went to Delhi, Charlie, 2 years ago, the capital of butter chicken, where it's invented.
Yeah.
I cannot just. I'll send you pictures after today. I was floating in it. I met the angel, came down and met me, and oh my god, oh wow, that was just too good. Butter chicken, oh my god, with garlic naan. It's like garlic bread pizza, 50-50. Wow.
Yeah. What's your favorite naan, Jazz? What's your favorite naan bread? If you're getting a naan, what are you getting?
I usually just get the butter one, to be honest, but the garlic one's close by. So the garlic or the butter one or the other. But I prefer rice. I find the naan's a bit heavy, to be honest. I prefer rice.
See,
I prefer.
I'm getting both.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie about it. I'll get a rice, but I'll also get a peshwari in there. I'm a big fan of a peshwari.
Oh, right.
It's something about the combination, you know, of the flavors in a peshwari naan that really do it for me. David, what's your favorite naan bread?
Do what? My favorite naan. I think I'm going with like the garlicky.
Garlic one. Yeah. Is Tim alright? A bit worried. Is Tim okay? I can't hear him.
Oh,
this is like the Mutiny and the Bounty. I was watching that film last month.
It's my fault.
Taken charge.
I told you guys before the show started that after Hammer's polls, we have to bullshit our way through.
Charlie, we've done it.
We've done it.
So
we've taken hold of the ship.
You know, Tim, you're talking about you want new shows and stuff. Jazz and Charlie's Curry Hour.
Charlie, we're going to be hanged when we get back to when the ship goes back to UK. We're going to be hanged.
Listen, wow. I'm willing to do it.
Treachery. Oh no!
Worth a shot. Tim. Do
you know the story of Meeting the Bounty? There's 30 of them from that island. Those families still live there. There's only like fucking 10 left now.
Okay. Speaking of bounties and coconut, bounty chocolate, Jazz. Yes or no? What's your opinion?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes.
I agree with that. Bounty chocolate. It's big. It's just a great Tim bounty chocolate.
What about dark chocolate? Like, are you getting to dark chocolate?
No.
It's been in fashion for about 5-10 years. Not me. The wife loves it.
It's not for
I know
me.
it's good for you as well. I don't know.
It's not for me.
I'm certainly not a dark chocolate bounty.
I'm definitely into salt caramel though. I'm definitely
salted
into
caramel
that.
now.
Yeah. I'm into that.
I can get into that. I think
Magnum do an ice cream that flavour, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, they do.
White chocolate Magnum's very good as well. I'm not going to lie. White chocolate is a give or take for me, but the white chocolate Magnum is potentially my favourite Magnum. I do like that a lot. But something about a dark chocolate, it's a bit rich. But then again, I also don't like coffee, and coffee's sort of similar sort of taste, and I'm not into that. David, what are you thinking? Coffees? How you feeling? Strava Craft? No, yes.
I've actually stopped drinking coffee for the most part, but if I do drink coffee, it's going to be some espresso or something.
I don't drink
Like-
coffee, but I like the coffee walnut cake though, Charlie. Funny enough, I don't drink coffee, but I like the coffee walnut cake. I like that. That's nice.
Tim, you into your coffees? You into your coffees?
No, not me.
Captain Bligh, we're in trouble, Charlie.
No.
Captain Bligh's not happy.
No, that's fair. I mean, you remind. I think you'd be more hot chocolate, man. You feel like someone who, you want just an injection of sweetness in your life. Is that what you're vibing, Tim?
Yeah, definitely.
He likes he's saying the McDonald's strawberry milkshake large size. That's what he's saying. He likes that.
That's a big choice. That's a large choice.
Charlie, that's like diabetes. Bring it on.
That's a big. Do you know what it is? There's McDonald's near me. Right? I can't get the milkshakes because it doesn't matter what flavor you get. It's the same machine and it's never like cleaned off or whatever. So you get the taste of the slightly different one. So you get like a chocolate one. It tastes a bit like banana. You get a banana one. It tastes a bit like straw. You're never quite there for it, Whereas there's other ones, the Victoria McDonald's, for example, very good milkshakes. The flavors are on point, but the ones near me lacking. But
that's the funny thing because I'm a big Wimpy fan. There's not many around, and Gonzo says he hates it. He hates the touchscreen. Gonzo, he's got phobia with it, hasn't he? He doesn't like to touch anything. Ordering it, that was quite funny listening to that.
Yeah,
but
whereas I'm all about it. So anyway, that was Curry Hour with Jazz, Charlie, and David. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe.
No, we'll next week will be the Southern Fried Chicken. Next week we'll cover that.
Okay, I'll come back there.
I asked you to come up with a show, Jazz, so you could do it on our network, and this is what you do to me during our show.
Hash browns.
I said take a day and night.
Hash browns are underrated.
Hash browns are.
I love hash browns.
Hash browns, right? Tim, have you had a hash brown? Please tell me.
Waffles. I love waffles.
I've never met a potato I didn't like. Okay.
That's fair. That's a very fair. I will eat any type of potato. Here's the thing about hash brown. What you do with a hash brown, right? Is you want it to be a bit crispy. I feel like the crispy about Weatherspoons do an excellent hash brown. I will say that.
Really, McDonald's do it really good. That's the one.
I've never had one from it. I've never had one from McDonald's, but I will say this: when we go to West Ham, you might have heard of it at some point. I don't know. And we go to Weatherspoons for breakfast. I'll get hash brown. Potentially, my favorite part of the fry up is the hash brown at Weatherspoons. I say that because it's crispy. Good. It's good.
Charlie Bubble and Squeak. I love Bubble and Squeak. I don't come around to getting it often. The best one the wife makes is after the Christmas dinner the next day with the leftovers.
That's it.
That Bubble and Squeak. Oh wow!
And there's your plant-based whole food diet. Taken care of too as well.
Anyway, Tim, back to you.
Back to you, sir. Back to the chief.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
I thought that was a Cuban cigar in his hand. Is it? What is it?
No, it's just an electronic piece of shit thing.
Anyway, what has happened, Charlie? Have you lost sound, Tim? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I think he did himself for a while there. It was a difficult time for all of us. But now the king is back. Now the host is back, not the king. That's what he.
But Charlie, Wimpy, last experience of Wimpy. Can you remember last time Wimpy burger?
I had one when I was a kid, and then maybe 13, 14. But I'm not against it.
There's not many around. There's not many around, to be fair.
I've been having a mint Viennetta. That's what I've been having a lot recently, a mint Viennetta, and I've never really stepped into the Viennetta.
Oh, I got one in the. Oh, bang on, mate. Yeah.
Very good, It's there's something about the flavors of the mint ice cream with the chocolate little bits in there.
Yeah.
Good. It's good. It's good.
Well, like the Feast used to do good. Mint Feast. Mint that used to be a good one. Yeah, that was a good one. And Aero Mint is popular.
Aero Mint. You can get the little Aero Mint bubble chocolates, the peppermint ones. Wow. Big.
I still love flake. I used to have two in my cone, Charlie. I was greedy. 2 flakes I used to have. They used to call it 99.
Yeah, I'd hear the ice cream van coming down my road. I'd run outside. I'd get my flake.
Oh wow!
I'd get a second one in there. Big. I just. You know what it is? I like the flake chocolate bar. You like them like individually, but I prefer a 12. I feel like a twirl is just
Okay.
it's never because you've got the chocolate casing around it. It's not as
Okay.
crumbly.
I'm a whisper man myself.
Whisper. Oh, that's
Whisper.
fair.
I like the
Yeah,
velvety-
Whisper's
I like
not
the
bad,
velvety
yeah.
richness.
Similar concepts. Tim,
I'm
what's
a
your favorite?
Topic's my favorite topic.
Topic.
I don't know why. I like Topic. Bit of everything in there. Bit of nuts, bit of chocolate, bit of caramel. Caramel's my favorite thing. Caramel and fudge. I love it.
I'll do a double decker over a topic.
Man.
Decker. Here's the thing about a double decker in the Christmas selection boxes. It was always the one I'd eat last because I was never on it. But as I've grown older, I'm a bit more into it. You know? I'm a bit more into the double decker. But what's your favorite? What's your favorite one out of a Christmas selection box? Let's say you open it up. What's the one you're most excited to eat?
Are you talking about Quality Street? Depends what the
hazelnut
tin
whirl
is.
or
Quality
the,
Street's different from Celebrations, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
true. What would you prefer, Quality Street or Celebrations?
Well, I've never had Celebration. I've had Quality Street or Roses. I like better though.
Roses,
Oh,
that's another good one. Yeah. My nan loved roses, so we always had roses. Roses were just around because that was like her one. But roses are decent. But to be fair, they all are. Celebration obviously has the little versions of all the other popular brands.
Mars chocolate
Oh,
is my favorite, Charlie. I love Mars chocolate
Mm,
as
mm.
quality. Cadbury, when you're eating Cadbury's now, I don't know if Kraft had done something to it.
I think they changed it.
Yeah, I
They
don't know.
took the
People-
cocaine out of it. I think.
Yeah, it's all sugar, no cocoa. Like you're right. Mars
Yeah.
is my favorite. Topic, Bounty, Mars, Marathon.
What's your opinion on a Malteser? Are you a pro or
Oh,
Quality.
big Malteser fan?
especially in
I
especially in the cinema. Big
like
bag.
that. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I get those like box ones you can get for like £1 in a shop when they're on
Yeah,
sale.
yeah.
You open it up and there's like a little flap and you get a little Malteser.
And if you buy from the cinema, they're like £20.
Yeah, a bit too much. That's the corner shop next to my cinema gets a lot of service from me. I tell you what, you go in there.
What about minstrels? Like if someone gets a coffee one, they freak out. Or the orange
Yeah, that's the problem with
Yeah.
the coffee one. Because previously I wasn't into coffee, which was an earlier segment on the curry hour. But in the other flavors, I was really into it.
Is Tim all right?
Oh God, curry hour, man. All right.
No.
Well, it's 9 o'clock, so we have to wrap this up.
Can't mess about with Twix or Kit
Kit
Kat.
Kat.
Quality chat, fellas. Quality chat.
Tim must be on a diet. Neil says,
Yeah, that
no.
Charlie, when you
well,
put your finger through the foil and snap it, isn't it? Oh, look at that.
if you are still
Two
watching
fingers
this,
or four, gentlemen.
you have some sitting down, looking in the mirror, and trying to figure out who you are with your life.
I forgot about the best one. Munchies, Charlie, munchies.
Munchies are brilliant. Munchies.
But you need to remortgage your house.
You iron.
A little circle ball of like crunchy, like
Come on, you irons.
Munchies are big. Munchies are the best. I'm just not going to stop. Munchies are an
See you Wednesday for Hammer Shots.
They're well expensive. They were munchies.
They're worth
it. Boston against Tom Atherton. You know.
Oh, Charlie, curly whirly. Oh,
and,
good, man.
and then hammer it out on Thursday. And who knows on Friday. Tomorrow,
crunchy. I love
who knows?
crunchy.
We'll
I
see.
love
But yeah, Hammer Shots on Wednesday. And
Honeycomb's an excellent
It goes
event.
down so.
thank you, David, for showing up tonight. I appreciate it. And
You're pro or anti honeycomb?
Thanks for having me, Tim. Anytime.
good seeing you, my man. I'll talk to you guys off the air if I
Thanks,
can give
Tim.
a word in edgewise. Thank you.
Timmy, you pro or anti honeycomb? What's your opinion?
Honeycomb and chocolate goes so well together, and really well.